Prosecutors say Darrell Brooks lost his flip-flops and ditched his sweatshirt as he tried to flee the scene of a mass murder.
On Wednesday, experts laid out the path that they say Brooks took after killing 6 allegedly and injuring more than 60 in the Waukesha Christmas parade.
Fox 6 investigator Brian Paulson joining us this morning with more on Brooks' efforts to get out of Waukesha that night.
I think that's one of the most interesting parts of this trial. We know what happened. We've known that for a year. What happened before the incident and after now. Just a few hours after the parade massacre, we knew police had found that red Ford Escape just a couple of blocks south. It was abandoned in a driveway on Maple Avenue. Now we know where prosecutors say Darrell Brooks went after that. Surveillance videos show a man matching Brooks' description walking across streets, through parking lots, and even up private driveways. That's just south of where the SUV was recovered. Investigators found one Milwaukee Brewers sandal by a fence, another on a child's playset next to a sweatshirt. That sweatshirt right there, it's a NASA sweatshirt. The state says the lost sandals explain why Brooks was shoeless when they arrested him at a resident's front porch a short time later. And then that sweatshirt had DNA that tied back to Brooks' hair. As the state laid out the evidence, Judge Darrow said Brooks continued, though, to interrupt and make inappropriate comments. She made a record of that, and that set up a showdown between the judge and defendant Wednesday afternoon.
Mr. Brooks, I'm bringing the jury out and we're continuing. We're going to get through these witnesses.
Okay? And I'm not stopping you from doing that.
Through your behavior, you're not going to delay these proceedings today.
I'm not trying to delay the proceedings, so I wish you would stop being incorrect on the record and saying what I'm trying to do if you don't know that. You don't know what I'm trying to do.
I'm bringing the jury out. I'm not going to argue with you.
Then don't. Because I'm not arguing with you either. I'm stating facts.
You're raising your voice. It's
because I'm tired of you always making a record.
At me.
You're making a record of me trying to look bad. I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work.
That happened late in the day as the state was trying to hurry through its final witnesses. In the end, the clock ran out on Wednesday. The state is now moving into its 11th day of testimony, but they do plan to wrap up pretty quickly this morning.
Let's talk about the flip-flops and the NASA sweatshirt. Were prosecutors able to prove that they belong to Brooks?
Yeah, they had experts who came on from the crime lab who did DNA testing, in particular that sweatshirt tied back. They also had DNA tests done on the steering wheel and shift knob in the vehicle. They found that those matched Brooks as well. The crime lab also tested a winter snow hat that was found in the passenger compartment of the SUV, and that DNA strongly suggested that it belonged to Bill Hospel, one of the 6 people killed in the parade. So when the SUV ran him over, it would seem that the violence of that crash literally knocked his hat off and somehow it ended up inside the Ford Escape. Obviously just another sort of tragic description of what occurred that day.
Yeah. And we know the jury got to see that SUV in person yesterday, and a state patrol mechanic testified. So what did he find in the vehicle?
So the state patrol mechanic said one of the most significant things was the brakes. He said they were working just fine. He also said the driver should have been able to steer and maneuver normally. In other words, if Brooks had wanted to argue that he just couldn't stop or couldn't steer because of a mechanical failure, that inspector suggested that argument wouldn't hold water. Brooks hasn't made that claim, but he's asked questions that sort of raise the issue of whether or not he had full control. And again, we don't really know what his case is. We may find out today.
It's been interesting, though, the state kind of methodically eliminating all different defenses that he could possibly go to, and we'll see. So the state may rest its case finally today, as this has been delayed and delayed. Still a question, though, about one last person they may or may not bring back to the stand.
They want to recall a detective from Waukesha who appeared earlier in the case. Brooks says that witness was already released. Minor argument, really, in the grand scheme of things. But Brooks will start presenting witnesses, calling his own witnesses today. He'll call some tomorrow. What we don't yet know is Darrell Brooks going to testify himself? And how would that work since he is behaving as his own attorney? Would he ask himself questions? Would it just be a narrative? That's really up to Judge Darrow, and she'll address that if he decides. He says so far he doesn't know.
All right, Brian, thanks for continuing to break it down for us. So the trial going to get underway shortly.